Hello everyone, welcome back to this new session of Experts on Air. We'll be beginning in 5 minutes. I see you in a bit. Okay, and here we go. So, welcome back again. I'm very happy to have you here one more week, these experts here. I want to introduce myself. Those of you who haven't been here with us before. My name is Vanessa. I'm a professional project manager. I work for IDB as a consultant, as an expert in project management. I do training and I also work with teams to improve project management in the field. And I also want to introduce you to my colleagues. Fernanda, she's in Washington, D.C. She's the chief. She coordinates these sessions. And Leslie Ann is going to help me to go through this new session, hopefully in a very successful way. Leslie Ann is in Suriname. Thanks to both. Okay, so this week we are working on cost management, in particular how to build a good and efficient and useful SCurve, and on our procurement processes. We have some very, very interesting questions, and was strange to see that, in fact, well, maybe not so strange. You're very, very interested in corruption, which is, of course, one of our main problems in the field, and not so much on financial management. So let's focus on your interest, which is how to manage procurement to try to mitigate, let's say, corruption situations. Let's look at our slides. What questions do we have? Okay, first question. So this question comes from Isaka. This question got 20 votes. A lot of you are interested in this matter. And the question says, what is the best way to handle corruption in certain corrupt countries regarding the procurement process or any other process? Okay, I want to clarify something here. I'm going to try to stick to technical opinions. So I'm just a project management expert. So I'm going to try to answer just talking from a very technical project management point of view. There are many other ways to handle corruption, but I'm going to try to talk just on what can you do as a project manager. Okay, here are my ideas for you. There are three very, very key moments on the procurement process where you can avoid or mitigate or try to content corruption as a project manager. First one, when you define your TOR. That's a very, very important moment. If you do clear, specific, well-written TORs for your bids, you have a lot done. Second very important moment, the publication. If your publication has the right length, meaning if you are showing your publication for time enough for the big companies to apply to win them, to do a good offer, that's going to help you to cut options for corruption. If your publication is in international media or is in, let's not say international media, let's say the adequate media. That media that you need to use in order to get your publication to be read, that all the companies that could give you a good offer will know about your publication and will read your TOR. Third, very, very important moment, probably the most important moment, the evaluation process, of course. So how you define your committee, who's going to be on that committee, how are they going to vote, how are they going to decide whether an offer is better than another one, what criteria are they going to use to evaluate the company. companies and the technical and financial offers. That's a very important point. And 3 skills. So besides the moment, the key processes, you as a project manager have 3 very important skills in order to try to avoid corruption. First one, cost estimation. If you do a correct, justified, analyzed cost estimation, your chances to get responsible and good offers that will allow you to decide to choose to pick the better one are going to grow. Second, specific planning. What that means, if your scope is very wide, if your products are not really specific, that gives a lot of space for subjective interpretations, let's say, which may conduct us to illegal practices, or maybe not so good or efficient practices. And the third one, very, very important, efficient communication. And by that, I mean transparency. If our plans, if our documents, if our processes are public, the chances to reconduce some processes will be less. And stakeholders management. We are not alone as PMs. There are a lot of stakeholders that can help us to content, to monitor, let's say, how the process goes. And that will help us to successful award a process. Okay, so 3 moments and 3 key skills. That would be my recommendation for you as PMs. Let's go to the next question. We have another one, I think, very similar to this one. Oh no, that's a different one. We'll go to the similar one afterwards. Okay, question number 2. This comes from Tamoy, and this question got 3 votes. The funding of indirect cost or administration cost, that's we also call those costs this way, for development projects is often seen as a challenge for sponsors or donors. Why is this the case? Project execution is limited without this funding. Yes, it is. You're absolutely right, Amoy. But what has happened in history of project management for development? We have a lot of bad practices. So, for example, we found there some organizations that live, or the reason to exist is just to absorb management cost, not really delivering a lot of impact. So we have bad practices in the past that make the sponsor, and in particular the donor, afraid of those indirect costs. We also have, and we find many times in fact, unjustified amounts. Amounts that don't really show the value of that administration. Also, unbalanced amounts. We've seen projects with, let's say, 40% of administration cost. So the administration is going to cost the same as the benefit or the investment that you're going to deliver, and that's very difficult to accept. Also, because some organizations don't define their thresholds. IDB does, for example. Many big agencies, many big development agencies do. Some of them, they fix like the limit for administration cost or indirect cost is some percent. For big projects like IDB finance projects, it could go up to 18%. But defining the threshold is very, very important to receive a budget that you can accept, that you are comfortable with. And then there's the last concept, very important, institutional strengthening. So after 1980, institutional strengthening was like the key, the most important concept in development projects. And with institutional strengthening, we understood, the global system for development understood that what we have to do is to give the money to the ministries, from the beneficiary countries, for them to execute it. Why? Because in that way, they will, let's say, learn or develop capacity. They will develop capacity to improve their policies, programs, and execution. So when we thought at the beginning, when the institutions thought at the beginning about institutional strengthening, the focus was there. They have the ministries, the civil servants are the ones to execute the programs. So the administration cost has to be absorbed by the institution who is executing the project. While this, we faced a lot of challenges to get some impact with this formula, and nowadays it's rare to find big programs where the civil servants are the ones to execute them. But this idea that the ministry or the institution who is receiving the funds should absorb the administration cost is still there. And that makes the donor in a non-comfortable area to accept another way to present things. Next one. Question number 3 from Federico. Okay. This, the direct contracting, always allowed within an organization? Is it always allowed within an organization or financing entity? Not always, but very often. Is it not a practice that we have to avoid in corrupted areas or regions? And here I'm going to extend a little bit more the answer, so let me just finish to read the question. In which cases is direct contracting recommended the most? Okay, so some organizations don't allow direct contracting, but there are the few. I've worked with a lot of international organizations. I've worked with, of course, I work with IDB, but I've always worked. I've also worked with European bilateral cooperation, World Bank, and the United States systems. Many organizations within the United system. And they all have a formula for direct contracting. Why? Well, because there are some cases where you're going to spend more time and effort doing the process than the benefit that this process is going to give back. Let me explain that. If you know, for example, that there is a single source that only one company is going to provide in the world the product that you need, then the direct contract, or how we call it, single source process, is allowed and justified. Why? Because if this company is the only one, you don't need this company to compete with others to be able to identify that it's the proper contract to award. So why would we spend time and money if we already know the answer? Problem with that, how are we sure that that's the only company that provides that product or service. And maybe it's the only company providing that product or service, but a very small difference could give us alternatives. That's something that we find many times in IT projects, because we want to buy particular software, and that's a dangerous path. It's much more transparent to identify the characteristics and the description and functionality of the software that you need, rather than identify a single brand. In my opinion, you're right, it should be avoided, but that's just my opinion. In any case, to sum up this answer, the justification for a direct contract is always efficiency. If you're gonna invest more in the process than the benefit that you're gonna get from it, then it's recommended to cut it down and do a direct contract. Dangerous, however. Okay, next one. Okay, question number 4 from Luisa. This question got 4 votes. And the question is, can you elaborate further? How will a unified procurement process for an organization is defined? It is by the type of operation, it is by the type of goods and services. Okay, well, what is a unified procurement process? There are many kinds of unified procurement processes, but in general, the most important facts that define a unified procurement process is that you have one and only platform, meaning that the organization, all the departments in the organization are going to use the same platform. That you have one single policy and processes description for all the departments. You have one team managing all the procurement processes for all the departments within the organization. So everything is depending on one single team. Why would we do that? For a cost reason. When you have all the information in a single database, and you can, let's say, play with scale, you'll get better contracts. Is that an option when you're managing a project? Well, it is, of course, but it's difficult. Why? Because in order to be able to buy, let's say, for different departments and different demands, to get a better price, you have to wait. You have to wait until this single procurement team decides that they have enough information and enough amount of items that they need to buy to get a good deal. So for your project, it's difficult, but within your project, what you can do is that you can study your planning, your procurement planning. And let's say, for example, if one component needs to buy some, let's say some equipment, and another component needs to buy more equipment, even if there is a difference in time, that maybe the first component needs to buy this equipment at the beginning of the year and the other one needs to buy it at, let's say, the end of the year, mid-year, you can replan your procurement matrix in order to give more efficiency to your purchases. That's the only way I see, and we've done it in IDB project, that we could say that we have unified procurement process for a single project. It's always the same thing, efficiency. if we save costs because we buy more quantity and we buy on a single procurement process, we are not doing 3 or 5 procurement processes, then probably we are spending less than if we do it on a different way. Okay, let's go to question number 5, but first I ask you to think about more questions that you may be interested in, because we have, after those, let's say, prepared questions, we have an alive session, so you can introduce your questions and we'll answer them immediately. You can upload them on the platform. The link to upload them is underneath the video. Okay. Let's go to question number 5. Question number 5, here it is. Okay, this question comes from Jamal. Okay, we have another question that I think goes on the same direction as previous corruption questions. Maybe I'm wrong, but looks like. If procurement process contradicts authority interest, can we change the project? I mean, the process? Okay, so what do we mean by authority interest? If the interest coming from this authority is on the best interest of the project and the citizens, yes, not only we can change the process, but we should change the process. If what Jamal was thinking is something related to maybe not corruption, but let's say not such good practices, what shall we do as project managers? Well, that's a very common situation, unfortunately, and very uncomfortable one also. What I would recommend you is always to document everything. Do everything by written and have a lot of stakeholders to hold to get the best option and decision at the end with you. You're not alone, remember that. Okay, so change management for procurement processes or for any process depends on the organization. And it's a very important thing to define on your procurement plan. So your procurement plan is not just when are you going to buy and what are you going to buy, but how are you going to buy. So all policies and processes regarding how are you going to do your procurement processes should be on your procurement plan. If, again, the reason behind this authority interest is on the best interest of the project and is aligned with efficiency and giving the best impact to the beneficiaries, then yes, we can always change the procurement process. It doesn't matter if it's written down in a procurement plan, we can change it, but it needs to be justified. Otherwise, if you have to do it, document it. Let's go to the next one. Question number 6. Corruption again. Yeah, what a surprise. Okay. Could corruption be present at the time of awarding companies with contracts to provide services or goods? Okay, if awarding means the moment when you communicate to the company that they've won the bid, I've never seen it, because that's a very single moment. But if by awarding, and I guess this was your question, if by awarding you mean the whole process, of course, yes. Yes, procurement processes are very delicate because of that, because it's very easy to try to play a little bit to get the bid to be awarded to some companies and not others. Again, the most delicate moment where you really need to be cautious is on the evaluation. Who is going to conform? Who is going to be part of that evaluation committee? It's a very, very important decision. And the criteria are also very important. Another, let's say, dangerous moment, contract negotiation. So the committee decides that this is the best offer and this is the company that we want to work with the contract, and let's start with the contract negotiation. In that moment, if your cost estimation was not very, very well done, if it was not very accurate, if your TOR were not so precisely defined, that's a dangerous moment again, the contract negotiation. And finally, another moment where we find a lot of not so nice situation is when regarding the legal conditions. So for every bid, you ask the companies to show that, let's say, they have a bank warranty, or that they existed in the market for more than, let's say, 5 years. Well, sometimes if that information is not revised and supervised by different stakeholders and parties, we may find that those companies are lying on their documentation and the documentation is false. That's another very tricky point. I think we have another one. Let's go to the next slide. Oh, yeah, that's not a question. That's something I wanted to share with you. I always like to share some tips. It's not like they are on the book. It's something that I've learned after 20 years managing projects for development. And for this session, I wanted to share with you something very, let's say, basic, but that will help you a lot on your day-to-day work. When you're building your tools for procurement and for financial management, remember to link your procurement matrix to your SCurve. And to better explain that, I want to show you something. I'm going to share my computer screen and show you a good practice and a bad practice. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, so I hope you're now seeing my screen. And on my screen, you're probably identifying an SCurve. Here it is, okay? This is an SCurve. It's in Spanish, I'm so sorry, but it doesn't really matter because you don't need to read the details. You just need to see the graph. The graphic here, it's an SCurve. And where this graphic comes from, where do we pick this data from? From here, from this table. Okay, so this team made their SCurve with single numbers. So for month 1, they said that they were gonna spend 30,000 US dollars, I think it was. But doing it this way, we don't know where this comes from. How do we know what are we going to spend? What does $30,000 mean? It doesn't mean anything to us if we do it this way. On the other hand, if we do it this other way, which is linking our procurement matrix to our SCurve graph, we always know where this amount comes from. So here you see again month 1, and here you see the link to the procurement matrix. So we go to the procurement matrix. It's very easy to see where this comes from, right? So in this case, this was the activity that was meant to be executed in this first month. You see? Okay, very easy trick, tip, sorry. Let me change that. Very important when when you need to revise your planning, when something changes, you change something in your procurement matrix, and that's going to be changed automatically in your SCurve. So always remind yourselves to link your procurement matrix to your SCurve. If you are doing in the middle a financial budget, a financial planning document, then you link your procurement matrix to your financial budget document and your financial budget document to your SCurve. And you'll have everything aligned and yeah, linked. Okay. So now we have some live questions, I think. Let's see. What are you interested in? Okay. Which type of procurement do you recommend as the most effective one? Well, that's very difficult to answer. It depends a lot. It depends, first of all, it depends on the organization, because there are different organizations with different processes and policies. If we're talking about IDB, it depends if what you need to contract is a good, it's a service. The balance is, okay, more secure processes, so those which are more competitive, that will probably bring you more options and quality to choose between, are those that are more complex and long. So you need to look at the product that you need, that you're going to purchase, and you need to look at your schedule and try to balance between, let's say, a more rich process that will give you more options, but that it's gonna be longer, or a more agile process that probably will give you less options. But that all, of course, that's gonna depend on the market, on the product. It's very different whether you are executing a project, let's say in the US, that you have multiple options and always a lot of offers easily delivered, or if you are executing your project, let's say in Haiti or other not so developed countries where you have less options in the market. So it's always a balance. I like, as you said, in my opinion, well, I'm gonna answer in my opinion. I don't like very long processes. I prefer shortlist if we are able to do it, if you know your market and if you know that there are companies that you can invite to offer their services, but always competitive processes, that's for sure. I would never, well, I'm not going to say that, that's too extreme, but I'll try always to avoid processes just by invitation, because you may not know all the companies that could give a better option, a better offer, and I would avoid also direct contracting. Yes. Any other questions? Do you have more things that you're interested in related to procurement or financial management? Well, you'll see that the SCurve, that was not so asked about during this session, is going to be your key tool when we talk about monitoring and control processes. So when we do value management, which is going to be, I guess, maybe at the end of your training, you'll see that the tool that you're going to need and that's going to measure your performance is the SCurve. So it's a very, very important tool that you need to make sure that you build in the right way. Okay, I don't think we have more questions. If you do, I'm going to be here for some more minutes. Okay, we have 3 more minutes. 3 more minutes if you want to ask me anything related to cost or procurement. We still have 1 minute in case you want to ask me anything. Okay, we're done then. Thank you very much for being with us one more week. I hope you've enjoyed it. I have, and let's see you next week with another management area. Have a nice weekend. Bye bye.